Hey guys, my name is Shubhankit, and in this video I'll be answering the most frequently asked question that I have seen on LinkedIn. So I've been building my LinkedIn for quite a long time. I have been in the field of data science industry for last 4 years. So I've seen a lot of questions, I've seen a lot of similar kind of a question, that's why I'm putting them in the category of frequently asked question. So in this video I'll be answering all those questions, and if you have any more questions you can DM me on LinkedIn, you can post those questions under the comment of this video. So yeah. So let's just start right away. The first biggest question that I have faced, and it's quite a new one actually, but I'm facing this question a lot, is that which cloud software that I should use. Okay, so I got this question on LinkedIn that if I'm going into the field of data science, let's say I'm starting in the field of data science, so you know that most of the things are shifting over clouds. So which particular cloud software should I use? Okay, should it be Amazon, should it be your GCP, or should it be your Azure? So which specific cloud should I prefer while starting my training or while deploying my servers or anything like that? So in this case my answer would be to, first of all, it doesn't matter, right? First of all, it doesn't matter if you are choosing either one of the prominent three. So what are the prominent three software? We know it's Azure, it's AWS, and it's GCP. Okay, so these are the three most commonly used software. There are other software as well, but generally, or if you can say 95% of the time your company or your project or anything would be associated with one of these three. Market share, if you look at the market share, AWS has a higher market share, right? Because specifically for startups, many companies use AWS, and the services and the certifications are also quite common in AWS. Second would be Azure, right? I think Azure holds the second biggest market, and then third would be GCP. So if you're going market wise, then the answer would be AWS. That if you just want to increase the probability of that particular skill in your CV, then you should go AWS. But what I have observed is that specialization in any of these tools is not necessary if you're going for data science role. Of course, if you're going as a cloud practitioner, if you're going as a cloud specific role, then in which particular which one of these clouds you had you can say certification would vary. But if you're going for a role such as, let's say, data scientist, if you're going as a machine learning engineer, the cloud does not matter. It will be your logic and the thinking that or one of the experience in one of the previous cloud will matter, right? So the idea is that if you have worked in Azure, you could answer questions and you could perform tasks that are in AWS and GCP, given that you are given a proper time to learn and train about it, because things are same, right? Things are same, most of our services are same, just the names are different, the architecture is a bit different, but we get an understanding of what we are doing at cloud, what is the meaning of cloud, how things are going over cloud. You will get those understanding. So just to answer this question, for specifically a person who is going to field of data science, which cloud I should prefer while starting to learn, I think you should, if you are thought one thing, okay, I'll start with this one, so you should go with AWS or Azure. And if you're already in one of these field and you're applying for jobs, you're not getting the appropriate response, then trust me, the reason for not getting a response will not be that you are trained in a different cloud. It will be something else, but your skills will be transferable. So don't worry about going into one of the cloud things, focus on other things, right? That will be my answer to this question. If you're starting out, start with AWS or Azure. If you're already compatible in one of the cloud software, don't worry about it, right? The companies understand that, okay, if the person has a good amount of skills in Azure, they can do the same things on AWS if they're given a proper time. Okay, so that was the first question. Now just answering the next question. Next question that I have seen is how much math is required for data science. See, data science consists a lot of maths. First of all, that thing is clear. Data science is built on the back of calculus, on the back of probability, on the back of matrices and vectors, and when I've talked vectors and matrices, we'll also talk about algebra, basically linear algebra. Okay, so all of these things are required in data science. When I say required in data science, this does not mean that you'll have to do these things regularly in your job. When you're working as a data scientist, you don't need to deal with these formulas or any mathematical calculation. You won't be doing any math on, on paper on paper calculation you won't be doing. But the idea is that if you want to understand machine learning, you have to know calculus. If you want to learn idea about how we are evaluating things and how a machine learning model is making its judgment, then you have to learn probability. If you want to deal with image data and the structure of data and how we process data faster using pandas, you have to know understanding of matrices. Like similar in the case of vector as well, how do you do image transformation and all those things, therein vector comes in. And then if you want to learn about your simple machine learning algorithms, linear regression and all that thing, so you'll have to know a knowledge of linear algebra. Remember what I'm saying, you need to have a knowledge of these things to understand the other the further application and to implement it. So just taking a simple example, you would be deploying a linear regression model, but to know a linear regression model, like to implement a linear regression model, you don't need any of these skills. You don't need any of the skill to deploy or work on a linear regression model. But if somebody asks you a question on a linear regression model, if you want to understand how the linear regression model is working, you have to have a knowledge of calculus and linear algebra. Then only you will to understand gradient descent. Then only you'll be able to understand how a machine learning model is is making its judgment and how it's actually doing that error minimization and all that thing. So that is the gist, right? If you have mathematical background, things will become comparatively easier for you. If you're coming from a non-mathematical background, then also it's not that compulsory to understand all the mathematics. Whenever I teach data science, if I'm taking a lecture on mathematics, I give this proper disclaimer to students that if you get 40% out of this lecture, then you're good, right? If you're getting more than 40%, more than 50%, you have done a great job in understanding the mathematics behind data science. So that is the thing, guys. You just need a little bit of understanding to explain things, right? You don't need to apply these things hands-on in your job when you're working as a data scientist or a machine learning engineer. Next question. So again, let me just summarize the answer for this question. If you have this question, do I need mathematics to enter the field of machine learning? Do I need to have a specialization, all of those things? No, you don't need to. Just follow 1 or 2 lectures, just have a fair understanding of where it is used. That much is fine for you. Okay, that is a clear understanding. That much amount of data, amount of knowledge where you have to, okay, how matrices are used in image classification. That much is fine for you. I am not asking you to know how to calculate a determinant. I am not asking you to know what is the inverse of a matrix, and nobody will ask you these type of question. Specifically, nobody will ask you these type of question in interviews. Okay. Next question that we are looking here is how much statistics is required. See, mathematics, as I told you, if somebody gets 40% out of the mathematics lecture, they are in good hands. If somebody gets even 30% out of in statistics lecture, they are in great hands. Because statistics, the first of thing is that statistics for data science, if you just try to read it properly, if you just dive into the whole world of statistics for data science and machine learning, you will see a lot of big things there. You will see a lot of complex topics there, f-test, t-test, your different type of your distributions, right? And you come for hypothesis testing. So if you just go for the complete theory of it, the complete mathematics of it, you will just get lost, to be honest, and it will become a lot of hectic things for you. So when we talk about statistics, there is a specific amount of statistics that you should know. The statistics will affect your machine learning algorithm, because statistics will affect the data that you're putting in your machine learning algorithm. You will take decision based on what statistics you're getting out of your data, and then you'll pre-process your data, or you prepare your data for your machine learning algorithm. So obviously statistics is important, but you don't need to learn the whole of it. Remember guys, I'm not being diplomatic here, I'm just telling you the honest thing, that these topics are important when they're important, because in some cases what might happen that you will sit an interview and the other person would be, let's say, a PhD in statistics. So obviously if the person is PhD in statistics, they will ask you a question on statistics, and those will be a tough questions, and that's bound to happen. But it is not compulsory. This will happen in like 1 in 20 chances where you will sit with a person in an interview and he has a PhD in mathematics or PhD in statistics, right? So that is the case. In general, when you sit in data science interviews and the questions are on mathematics and statistics, the person expects you to connect whatever the question is to a data science application rather than giving them a mathematical answers, right? So these all things will give you confidence in your data science thing, right? So if I know mathematics, if I know statistics quite well, I'll be quite confident while working with the machine learning algorithm, right? Because I know the back-end working of algorithm, okay, how it's taking a decision. So when it comes to tweaking the parameter, when it comes to customizing your machine learning model, I'll be quite confident to do that compared to a person who does not know that much of a statistics. So yeah, it's not when we answer the question how much statistic is required, so you can say an intermediate amount of mathematics and average amount of statistics is good for you to start your career in data science. Next question: is coding compulsory for data science? Absolutely yes, coding is quite compulsory for data science, because whatever things that you are having in your mind, how will you apply it? See, what happens is that you have all of these theory of mathematics, statistics, formula and everything, and you are using libraries. Libraries basically are written codes, and you're using those libraries to implement these logic. Now those libraries are written in a form of code. To understand those libraries, to implement those libraries, you need to have a knowledge of coding. Again, not an expert level of coding required. You are not aiming for the role of software developer, you're aiming for a role of your data scientist or machine learning engineer. So in that case, amount of coding which helps you implement the logic that you have in your mind is required. You will face some problem where you have to debug the code. So if you don't know coding, you will be stuck with that. And as a data scientist, as a machine learning engineer, says to you one thing, that if you're working on a data science problem and if you're stuck with a coding problem, right? Okay, I was making a machine learning algorithm. If I have a error at hand that I'm not able to get right accuracy, that is a genuine error that I'll get, and I'll have to work on it because I'm a data scientist. So that's my job, to get the highest accuracy. Fine. But if I'm stuck at an error, error that is because of the code that I have written, and let's say I've spent the whole day just trying to resolve that error, then my work is a bit hectic, because that is not my job description to solve that error, but I'll have to do that, right? Because I have to implement my data science application. So as much coding as that will help you implement your data science skills, data science logic, that much coding is required. Okay, next question is I am from a non-tech background, and then can I go into a field of data science? So first of all, what's the meaning of when someone says that they are from a non-tech background? So non-tech background basically means that either they are from not a B.Tech background, they have a bachelor degree in BCA or like BSc, or something else. Or it could be that they are from B.Tech, but they have done their B.Tech in core technologies, for example mechanical, civil or chemical, right? So if you falls in this category where you have done your graduation in these things like BSc, B.Ed, right, or you have done a basic graduation, so in these kind of cases it will not affect that much. Reason being that it all depends on your skills. See, when I am interviewing for a company, there's a several process behind reaching the interview. Okay, so if I have followed that process and I've come in an interview, the companies know all about me. Okay, they know that where I've done my graduation from and what field I've done my graduation from. So there's no problem in that. But now you would be thinking that why would they prefer someone with a B.Ed degree compared to someone who's have a B.Tech degree? So it all comes down to the projects that you have done and the number of skills that you have. Let's say I am from civil engineering. I'm from civil engineering department. Let's say assuming I'm from civil engineering, and I know a bit of Python and I know a bit of SQL and apply for a role of data analyst. And then there's someone who is from who has done a bachelor in science, let's say English, BSc English. Okay, but then after that they learn coding, they learn SQL, and they learn machine learning as well, and they know a bit of visualization things as well. And basically they have more skills than me. Then I don't have any problem in hiring a person who has a BSc degree compared to one who has a B.Tech degree, because the person because whatever the person has studies in B.Tech is none of my use. What I'm interested in is that how many skills out of the job description he knows for the job that they're applying for. So that is the case. Basically you have doesn't matter that you have which kind of graduation degree, it's all comes down to the number of skills that you have and the projects that you have built with those skills. plus the communication and all those things, which are the other part, which cannot be changed, and which will be there always, the communication thing, and how well you judge answers, the listening skills, and basically the soft skills. So yeah, if your non-tech background does not matter, all the skills, if you are if you're quite motivated and dedicated enough to learn things, that thing does not go unnoticed. I would lie to you, you will get less chance, less opportunities. If you are going as a graduate in BSc or English, and if you are applying for data science role, you will get less opportunities, but your opportunities will not go unnoticed. There are many companies out there, there are many startups specifically who does not care what your background was. They just want that, okay, whether you can do these things or not, and they'll hire you. So yeah, next question and the last question that I found was, what kind of projects are good? So this is for people who are already preparing for a case of data science and they are not able to get interview calls. So there are a couple of answers to this. First of all, if you are working on a common project, let's say your project is heart disease prediction or something like that, which is, or IMDb movie prediction or IMDb movie review, which is quite common data set, so that kills the interest of interviewer. And also the ATL system have seen a lot of those things. So projects that are end-to-end basically means that we have researched for the problem, you have collected the data for the problem, you have built an algorithm, you have done analysis, you have prepared documentation, you have prepared a presentation, you have prepared a GitHub repo. If you have done all of those things for a project, then it's called a complete project, and those sort of a project get more priority compared to a normal project, right? So those can try to do those kind of a project where to learn everything about the project, right? Because that is a difference between a self project and industry project. I have discussed this thing in detail in one of my workshop. I'll post a link of that workshop in the description of this video, that what's the difference between a self project and industry project. So yeah, try to do those projects, if I'll just have to tell now, so just try to do projects which are in general whole. We start from a problem statement and end to an actual working application, actual working UI, right? So try to do that kind of a project, because that gains more attention, they raises more question. So the project that will raise more question will give you more chance to talk about in interviews, and that will make your project, make your interviews easy, right? So yeah, so these were the most frequently asked questions that I found on LinkedIn. People asked me these questions, and some of the questions I saw on the comments, and accumulated them from several places, and I thought it will be nice to answer them in one video. I hope you like this video. My name is Shmankit. I'm currently working as a machine learning engineer in worldwide technology, and for that I worked as a data scientist, I worked as a data analyst. I know a lot about this field. So yeah, you can follow me on LinkedIn, you can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on you can follow this YouTube channel. So yeah, thank you and happy learning.